Okay, guys. So welcome back. So today is basically sixth day of data analysis with Python, and till now we have learned about NumPy, Pandas, and I think in a first two session we talked about fundamentals of Python. Okay, so most of the part is already covered, and now I think today is with respect to a learning part. So today is the last session, and I think after this session, tomorrow session, I will talk about maybe one of the case study. And I will show you that how you can perform a data analysis, maybe on a real kind of real world data set. Okay, so if you get a real world data set, so it is very important. So before making a prediction, before making any kind of a model or any kind of prediction, or maybe take any kind of a decision, so data analysis is you can say a most important part, because without making any analysis on the data set, you can't basically proceed for model building, or you can't proceed for any kind make you can't make any kind of a true prediction. Okay, so yes, so that is important. So that is important for making any kind of a prediction, for making any kind of a decision, basically for future. Okay, so guys, in today's session I will talk about how you can basically visualize your data. Okay, so data visualization is basically a most important part, and with the help of a visualization, with you can basically showcase your analysis in a much better way. Okay, so you can showcase your analysis, or you can represent your analysis in a much better way in form of graphs. Okay, so definitely you can't think that maybe if you ever work on some in any kind of project, and so you can't think that every client is maybe a data scientist or maybe a machine learning engineer. So at that point of a time, if you try to maybe impress him, or maybe impress her, or maybe try to basically convince her that yes, so the project you made for basically him or her is definitely good, and it will give them a kind of a profit. Okay, so for that purpose you need to show something. Okay, so you need to show some kind of a graph or some kind of an analysis graph, so that so yes, so that they become they are convinced. Okay, so like I think you already I think if I talk about sell forecasting. Okay, so stock market prediction, so you can see that you can show different kinds of a graph of a stock prediction, or maybe a self forecasting, and with the help of that graph you are able to analyze. Okay, so this is the current market situation. Okay, so it becomes handy for anyone it becomes handy for anyone to basically visualize or to generalize kind of a pattern which is going on inside a data. Okay, so so guys, okay, so this is so I think in today's session I'm going to talk about different kinds of a plot, and with the help of the different kinds of a plot, what kind of analysis you can make on your data set. Okay, so for making any kind of analysis, for so you have a different kind of a visualization libraries. Okay, so first library is nothing but a matplotlib. Okay, so I just try to import a matplotlib. Okay, so import matplotlib.pyplot splt, because this name is very large. So yeah, I just take an alias name as plt, and in the same way I try to import a Seaborn library. Okay, so Seaborn is again a kind of a visualization library. Okay, and yes, I also import basically a NumPy. So maybe if I need to do any kind of a calculation, and I also basically import a Pandas to read my data set. Okay, so yes, this is a very first step. Okay, so without reading a kind of a data set, how you can basically make a graph on that data set. Okay, so that is the most important part. Fine. Now, if I now okay, so now if I start with the very general plot. Okay, so a very general plot is nothing but a line plot. Okay, so there is something which is called a line plot. Okay, so what is basically a line plot? Okay, so line plot is very simple, and you can analyze a line plot in a much easier way. So suppose if I take a data set. Okay, so if I just take I just create an array. Okay, so I can create an array, and I can basically try to generalize this array. Okay, so yield oranges. So maybe if maybe in terms of a hectare, or maybe in terms of acres, I just try to show you that this is the yield of maybe oranges somewhere. Okay, fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 entries are there. Then if I took a year, so year wise yield, if I want to show you. Okay, so I just took maybe, okay, so 2013, then 2014. Okay, so then 2015. Fine, then 2016, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2017, 5, and then 2018. Okay, now if I try to plot this thing, okay, so plt dot plot, and inside this plt dot plot, so I just try to plot this thing, and if you can see, so this is a plot between x and y. Okay, so in a x-axis, if I took years, so that is fine, and on the y-axis, I try to plot what? I try to plot a yield oranges. Okay, so yes, you can see this graph. Okay, so in 2018, so this is basically yield of oranges. So in 2018, yes, you can basically see from a data frame also. So in 2013, highest number of yield is basically happened in 2018. Then there is slight decrease in 2014. Then again a slight decrease in 2016. Then a slight then again it increases in 2000 basically 17, and then it again decreases in 2017, and then it increases in 2018 again. Fine. So this is a kind of a graph I am able to make with the help of what? With the help of a line plot. Okay, maybe if I want to basically give them a label. Okay, because okay, so with yes, so I just try to put this thing in a x-axis and a y-axis, so I can also provide maybe the labels, and yeah, so I can provide labels, yeah, so this x label and a y label. So I can write in this way, so plt dot x label. So I think on a x-axis I have what? I have an years, and a plt dot y-axis, y label, I have what? So I am having yield oranges. Oh, okay. So on the x-axis, I am able to draw basically years. I am able to label x. I am able to basically label x-axis as a years, and I am able to label y-axis as basically what? As yield oranges. Okay, in the same way, and definitely I can basically draw two things. Okay, I can draw basically two arrays in a single in with in a at the same time. Okay, so maybe just like yield oranges, if I try to make this thing for maybe apples. Okay, so maybe for apples or maybe anything else, so yes, I can plot that thing. Nobody so there is no restriction that you can plot just a one thing at one times. Okay, so maybe if I plot in this way, so I just try to take apples in this place. Fine, and I can basically change these numbers. Okay, so maybe if I try to make this number a little bit handy. Okay, so maybe in this way, so 0.84, then in this place a 0.88, then a 0.92, and then maybe if I can write 0.86, and then at last again a 0.95. Okay, fine, and in a same here, so that is completely fine. Now if I try to plot this thing. Okay, so years, and in place of yield oranges, if I try to plot what? If I try to draw yield apples. Okay, so yes, I'm able to draw this thing again. Fine, and yes, okay, so this is fine. I'm able to draw this thing, and okay, and I can basically give a name also. So I can give the name also in a similar way. Now, if I try to plot this thing all together, okay, so if I try to plot this thing all together, so yield of oranges and yield of apples. So let me show you. Yeah. So and let me check whether we are able to do this thing or not. Okay. So plt dot plot, and inside a plt dot plot, if I try to plot what? So in one graph, if I try to plot maybe apples, and in one graph, if I try to plot so I'm trying to plot this thing simultaneously. Okay, so I'm trying to plot this thing simultaneously. Okay, so in the same way, there is basically oranges. Fine. So this is fine. So ears and yield apples. Then on the then say in the second graph, I have something. Then I have maybe x level and y levels. Okay, so I am having x level and y level. So on the x-axis, I'm always having what? I'm always having basically ears, and then I'm having what? I'm having yield basically per hectare. Okay, so because I'm not basically I'm not checking for just apples or maybe just for oranges. I'm checking for both the things. Okay, so on the whole, it is what? It is just yield per hectares. Now, okay, fine. And now if I add a legend, okay, so plt dot legend. Fine. And inside this, if I try to provide maybe apples, okay, so first thing is nothing but apples, and the second is what? Second is nothing but oranges. Fine. Now, if I try to plot this, yes. So I am able to plot this with basically a different colors, and I am able to visualize. So this is what? So this is a yield per hectare of basically apple, and yield per hectare of basically oranges according to year. Okay, so this is yield year wise. Okay, so this is the yield year wise, and this is the yield year wise of for apples, and I am able to basically show the yield of yield per year, year wise yield of apples with the help of blue line, and I'm able to show basically yield per hectare of oranges per year, year wise with the help of orange, basically orange line. Fine. So yes, I can basically do this kind of a job. I can basically plot in this in manner, and yes, I'm okay. So this is a dummy data set which is created by ourselves. Okay, so we are not able, we are not trying to read a data set from somewhere else. I am just trying to basically create our own data set, our own dummy data set, and then I am trying to explain you. Okay, so yes, you can basically but then also you can get some kind of insights. Okay, so the main job of a data scientist is to gain insight from your data. Okay, so the main job of a data scientist is to gain insight from our data set. And now if I try to basically observe something, okay, so if I try to maybe observe something, and then definitely after observe something, okay, so after making some observation, you need to write down your observation. So you need to write down your observation here. Okay, so I can write down my observation as yes, so yield of apple is basically increases. Okay, so yield of increases, apples increases year wise. Okay, so if I check year wise, so yield of apple increases, but yeah, there is some basically a fluctuation. Okay, so in just 1 year, so in 2017 there is some fluctuation. Okay, so it is trying to in this year, in this particular year, it is trying to decline. But yes, but then also the yield of apples are basically increases year by year, but the yield of oranges are not basically increases year by year. So it is in some year it is go very down, and in some year it is go above, but yes, it is not increasing year wise. Okay, so but yes, I can say it for apple. So yield of apples it increases year by year. Okay, so this kind of analysis or this kind of insight I am getting from this particular data set. Fine, guys. Now, if I try to check, if I try to basically make any kind of insights, or maybe trying to get any kind of insight, any kind of insight, or maybe if I try to make any kind of analysis or on some actual data set. Okay, so I have a data set which is nothing but a iris data set. Okay, so I'm having an iris data set along with me. So pd dot read csv, and I'm trying to basically read a iris dataset. Okay, so the iris is very popular dataset, and it is the you can say oldest dataset as well. Okay, and if I basically able to show you, so iris is what? So there are three kinds of iris flowers. Okay, so if you check on the internet, so there are three kinds of iris flowers. So one is iris setosa. Okay, so one this is a kind of a flower. Okay, so setosa is nothing but it is one kind of a iris flower. Okay, so one is iris setosa, then another one is iris versicolor, and then third one is iris virginica. Okay, and you can basically check this thing. Okay, so you can basically check this thing. Now, if I basically check with the value count, the distribution of a different kinds of a flower. Okay, so I have basically what I have having a three kinds of a flower. Okay, so iris virginica, iris setosa, and iris versicolor. Okay, so and the distribution is same. So distribution of all kinds of flower. Okay, so a distribution of all the classes of the flower is basically the same. Okay, so virginica comes for the 50 times, then setosa comes for 50 times, and then versicolor also comes for the 50 times. Okay, so the distribution of all the classes, distribution of all the three classes are basically same. Fine. So these are basically three kinds of flower, and yes, I think you guys are aware of this fact. So every flower has some sepal length, every flower has some sepal width, every flower has some petal length, and every flower has some petal width. Okay, so on the basis of these features, okay, so on the basis of these features, or you can say on the basis of these columns, I am able to basically decide whether that particular flower is setosa, or whether that particular flower is virginica, or maybe that particular flower is versicolor. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to decide with the help of these features. Okay, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. Now, if I try to plot basically a line plot. Okay, so if I try to plot a simple line plot in this place, so what kind of analysis I make? Okay, so you can see that inside a plot you are having a different kind of a plot. Okay, so yes, I'm talking about one by one. I'm talking about each kind of plot, a different kinds of a plot. So there is a line plot, then there is a bar plot, then there is a bar edge. Okay, so the horizontal bar plot, then a histogram, box plot, KDE. Okay, so then density plot, then area plot, pie plot, scatter plot. Okay, so these are the different kinds of a plot which is available inside basically our library. So yes, one by one, I'm going to talk about each kind of a flower. But this is so if I maybe if I try to make some observation with the help of a line plot in this particular data set. So let me check. Okay, so let me show you that whether I am able to make any kind of an observation, or a so if I'm get any kind of insight from this data set with the help of a line plot or not. Okay, so inside this, I just try to give a figure size, because figure size is very important, and so I just give some figure size so that I can easily visualize my data set. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so maybe this figure size is very long, and if I show you, so inside a figure size, so it may be, I think yes, so width and the height. So I think I need to reduce my height so that okay, so now you can see that in a red color, so there is a petal width, then in a green color, there is a petal length, then a sepal width and a sepal width. Okay, so guys, now try to visualize, or now try to find out the insight just by seeing this scatter plot. Okay, so just by seeing this line plot. Okay, so sorry, this is not a scatter plot, this is just a line plot. So if I ask you, okay, so if I ask you the question, okay, so just by seeing this line plot, okay, so after plotting this line plot, are you able to make some kind of insight, or are you able to gain any kind of insight from this data set, or are you able to make any kind of observation? Okay, so yes guys, if I try to show you, so yes, definitely you can gain maybe some kind of insight. Okay, so you can show that you can basically tell someone that the value of what the value of petal width is basically fluctuated. Okay, so the range of a petal width. Okay, so you can say in this way, the range of petal width is what. So the range of petal width is nothing but it can, I think it is started from maybe somewhere from here, so maybe a 0.1, and basically the range is from 0.1 to what, so maybe this is the highest value, so 0.1 to maybe a 2.1, okay, or maybe a 2.2. Fine. So this is the range of what, this is the range of a petal width. Okay, so the range of petal width is from 0.1 to 2.1. Okay, fine. If I basically check for the petal length, okay, so if I check for the petal length, so now in the petal length, so I think the range of petal length is what, so the length of petal length is maybe a 0.8, so it is started from a 0.8 or maybe a 0.9, and it goes till where, so it goes till a 6 point, yeah, I think I am correct, so this is, I think a 6.9, okay, or maybe a 6.8. Okay, so it started from a 0 point something. Okay, so it is started from a 0.8 and 8, and then it goes to 6.8. Fine. In the same way, you can basically check the range for a sepal width. Okay, so you can check this basically a range for a sepal width. Fine, you can check this length range for the sepal width, and I think in the same way, you can, in a similar way, you can basically check the range for what, you can check the range for a sepal length. Fine. Now I think you are able to check the range of maybe, all different kinds of feature, and now you can basically you can mark down your observation. Okay, so I think if someone asks me, okay, so if someone asks me that mark down your observation, so I can say that the petal length, okay, so the value of petal length is fluctuated a lot. Okay, so it is fluctuated in the highest range. Okay, so the highest range is what, okay, so I think if someone asks you the question, okay, so which feature is having the highest range. Okay, so I think you guys are able to answer this. Okay, so you guys can answer this question. Okay, so with the help of a line plot, I'm able to basically analyze that my petal length is basically having the higher range, because it is started from somewhere at 0.8 and it goes through a 6.8. Okay, and with the by just seeing this basically a graph, I can clearly say that a petal length is having the highest range. Okay, so my petal length is having the highest range in comparison to any other features. Okay, so in comparison to any other feature, my petal length is having the highest feature. Okay, and if I basically try to make a comparison, so I think highest range is maybe, in my opinion, so if I see the graph correctly, so I think a petal length is having the highest range. Then in a second place, I think I can think that I think it is maybe a petal width. Then maybe in a third place, if I could see, so I think it is a sepal. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused. So maybe it is a sepal length or maybe a sepal width, and yes, a vice versa for maybe a last position. Okay, but yes, I can make a single analysis. I can make very easily. Okay, so I can make a single analysis very easily that. The highest variation, okay, so the highest variation in so which feature basically gets the highest variation, so a petal length is basically having the highest variation. Fine, guys, so yes, you can basically get this kind of insight with simple line plot. Okay, so with simple line plot you can get this kind of an insight. Okay, so I think till this part everyone is able to understand about a line plot. Now if I try to move on to the next kind of a plotting. Okay, so now if I try to move on to the next kind of a plotting, so I am having a what, I am having a scatter plot on the next position. Okay, so now try to gain some insight with the help of a scatter plot. Okay, so now it's time to gain some kind of insight with the help of a scatter plot. Okay, so if I check basically what are the different kinds of output. So I think I already see that I'm having a three class inside my output variable. So I'm having a iris virginica, then I'm having a iris setosa, then I'm having a iris versicolor. Okay, so I'm having a three kinds of classes inside my output. Fine. Now if I try to plot a scatter plot, okay, and this time I'm going to use what, I'm going to use a Seaborn library. Okay, so sns dot scatterplot. Okay, so sns dot scatterplot. And if I show you, so the formula, the basically the signature is same. Okay, so you need to give x-axis. So scatter plot is basically a bivariate analysis. Okay, so in a scatter plot you are trying to do what? You are trying to do a bivariate analysis. Okay, so by definition also it is trying to do a bivariate analysis. Fine. So bivariate analysis means what? So when you are trying to basically make any kind of a comparison or make any kind of analysis between two variables. Okay, so when you are trying to make any kind of comparison or maybe any kind of analysis between two variables or maybe a more than between two variables, so that is what? That is your bivariate analysis. So now with the help of a scatter plot I am going to perform a bivariate analysis. Okay, so I just took maybe two variables. Okay, so I just tried to took maybe two variables. So on the x-axis, I am going to take what? I am going to take maybe a sepal length. Okay, so on the x-axis, I am trying to take a sepal length on my x-axis, and I am going to take maybe sepal width on the y-axis. Okay, so now I am going to take a sepal width on a y-axis. Fine. So I just took a sepal length on the x-axis, and then I took a sepal width on the y-axis. And in this place, I think I can show you. If I can show you, so there is something called a U. Okay. So let me show you the hue, but before that, if I show you the sepal length and sepal width. Okay, so with the help of a sepal length and with the help of a sepal width, I am getting this kind of a plot. Okay, so I am getting this kind of a plot, and I think you can maybe visualize that this is what. So this is on the whole. So this is maybe 150 data points is there, and there may be a one class which belongs to a setosa, then there may be another class which belongs to a maybe a versicolor, or there may be one class which may belongs to a virginica. Okay, but I am not basically getting it. Okay, so I am not able to basically classify these three kinds of class. So which is basically a setosa, and then which is a versicolor, and then which is a virginica. Okay, so for that purpose I have one attribute inside my scatter plot which is nothing but a U. Okay, so inside a U I can give that basically a column name on which I want to classify. Okay, so inside a U I can basically get that I can give that column name on which I am trying to classify. Okay, so inside a U I just give what? I just give I want to classify on the basis of outputs. Okay, so because in my outputs I am having a three classes, and I want to classify on the same thing. Now you are able to visualize. Okay, so iris setosa, then iris versicolor, and then as iris virginica. Okay, so this is iris setosa. Okay, so this basically this is what? So this is a setosa, then with a orange color, so there is a versicolor, and with a green color, so this is what? So anything with a green color is what? Anything with a green color is virginica. Okay, so if you can I think inside this, if I have, if I have not, so I can't do anything. mm, okay, so I'm not having this thing. Okay, fine. Okay, it is not taking. Let me check. Okay, plt dot fig size. If I okay. Yeah, now it is fine. And if I try to show this thing, so okay, I give some range, but it is not able to basically increase it. Okay, so maybe inside this, if I'm having something, so I can use that thing. Okay, so there is something a size. So if I take this size and if I try to increase the size of this attribute, so let me check I'm able to do it or not. Okay, it is not giving me any kind of a good response. Fine, leave it. Okay, so I'm able to basically visualize. Okay, so there is one class which is a Setosa, then there is another class which is a versicolor, and then there is another class which is a Virginica. Okay, now if I basically show you, so with a one error. Okay, so if I try to make maybe if I try to get some insight. Okay, so what kind of an insight I can get with this kind of a plotting? Okay, so what kind of an insight I can get from a scatter plot? Okay, so with a single error, I can basically draw a line over here. Okay, so maybe if I can draw a line over here, so I can show, I can say this thing that if my value, so if my sepal width, okay, so or maybe if I can say, okay, so maybe if in this if in this way I'm not able to visualize correctly, so maybe if I try to check maybe some other thing. Okay, so maybe in place of a sepal length, if I try to check a petal length. Okay, now it is very clear. Okay, so if I just draw a line over here, okay, so if I just draw a line over here, and then I try to make one prediction. Okay, so in this place, if I try to make a one analysis, so I can definitely tell this thing that if a petal length, okay, so somewhere, okay, so anywhere inside a data set, anywhere inside a data set, if my petal length, okay, so if my petal length is lesser than 2.5 or maybe a 2.4, okay, whatever the value you consider this is, okay, so whatever the value you consider this is, so anywhere if my petal length is lesser than 2.5, so that particular class, that particular flower is what? So that particular flower is definitely a Setosa. Okay, so you can simply see this thing, and you can simply basically make this kind of analysis. So anywhere inside a data set, if my petal length is lesser than 2.5, anywhere inside a data set is basically if my petal length is lesser than 2.5, so that particular class or that particular flower is definitely going to be a Setosa. Okay, so you can make this kind of analysis with the help of a scatter plot. Okay, fine. So I think you guys are able to understand that what I'm trying to basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I think you guys are able to understand. Yes, so you guys can make this kind of a prediction by using a scatter plot. And now you can ask me a question. Okay, so you can ask me a question that you hypothetically choose a petal length. Okay, you hypothetically choose a petal length, but how I can basically choose a petal length hypothetically? Maybe if I don't know. Okay, so I am not able to visualize this thing because so I you just hypothetically choose a petal length. Okay, so how I can basically choose x and y correctly? Okay, so how I can basically choose this x and this y correctly? So for that purpose you can use a one more kind of a plotting. So there is one more kind of a plotting available. So that is called a pair plot. Okay, so with the help of a pair plot you can observe this kind of a thing. You can see a different kind of a permutation combination. Okay, so now if I try to make a pair plot, okay, so if I try to make a pair plot, so let me show you that with the help of a pair plot how I can how you can basically make a analysis. Okay, so SNS dot basically a set style, SNS dot set style, and inside this if I write a wide grid. And then if I can write SNS dot a pair plot, fine. And then if I pass a data over here, and if I just give a U, so U is what? U is nothing but the outputs. And then if I give a size, so size is nothing but maybe 4. And then if I try to show you this plotting, okay, so definitely, so it will give you all permutation combination, means scatter plot of sepal length versus sepal width, then scatter plot of petal length versus petal width, scatter plot of sepal length versus petal width, scatter plot of sepal length versus a petal length. Okay, so you can visualize all the different kinds of a permutation combination, and now you can took a best one. Okay, so from here you can took the best one. Okay, and here you can basically took the best scatter plot which you basically consider is the best one, and with this I can make a very good kind of analysis. So if I show you, okay, so if I show you, so you can visualize, so with the help of a petal length and petal width. Okay, so anywhere a petal length, a petal width is give you the best value. Okay, so and now with the help of a petal length and petal width you can make a two analysis. Okay, so anywhere, so if I draw a line over here also in a y-axis also, and if I draw a line over here also, so I can definitely say this thing that anywhere if my petal length is lesser than 2.5, so that class is particular, that particular flower is definitely going to be setosa. And anywhere if my petal width also, so if my petal width also is I can say that is lesser than a 2.5. Okay, so a petal width is same also. Okay, so I think here you can show this thing. So anywhere if my petal, so petal width value is between I think so petal width value is maybe a 0. Okay, fine, 0.5. Okay, so petal width value is lesser. So but yes, you can say this thing that anywhere if petal width is lesser than what, is lesser than maybe a 0.8, so definitely that flower is going to be setosa. Okay, so you can make a two analysis, and one more analysis you can make, like these two features. Okay, so these two feature, a petal length and petal width is basically a very important. Okay, so for making a prediction, okay, so in future for making a prediction, or you can say for making a decision, or for taking any kind of a decision, these two features, okay, a petal length and a petal width is basically the most important feature, and I'm not going to drop this feature at any cost. Okay, so maybe for my simplicity I can drop maybe any other feature, but I'm not going to drop these two features at any cost, because these two features give me a very good insights. Okay, so yes, you can do this thing, and definitely maybe so someone maybe at last, so someone asks you the question, okay, so just try to make your prediction, or just try to make your decision with on just two features. Okay, so just take two most important feature, and then leave the rest of rest two. Okay, so definitely now with the help of the pair plot you can definitely take to that two features. Okay, so you can definitely make your decision that yes, okay, so it's fine if if you ask me to take only just two features, so I just go with what, I just go with the petal length and a petal width, because I already seen it that with the help of a petal length and a petal width I am getting a much better insight. Fine. So yes, guys, you can do this kind of a job. Now if I talk about maybe a different kind of a plotting. Okay, so I'm going to talk about histograms. Okay, so what do you mean by a histograms? Okay, so in a histogram, basically you are able to see the frequency. Okay, so now you are able to visualize that different kind of basically a features. Okay, so petal length, petal width, petal sepal length, and sepal width. So there, so all the features are basically ranges in between some values. Okay, so there is a range of each and every features. Okay, and all the basically features are ranges from maybe one value to another. That is completely fine. But if I want to see, the frequency, if I want to check the frequency, that which value frequency is high. Okay, so I have a different kind of a values, and if I want to see that which value frequency is basically high in maybe a particular feature or maybe in a particular column. Okay, so how I can basically see this thing? So I can see this thing with the help of a histogram. So I can write a plt.hist. So inside a plt.hist, I can I can check a histogram for what? For a sepal length. And in a histogram, you have basically something called a beans. So beans is nothing that how many parts you want to divide your data set. So that is particular, that is called a beans. Okay. So now in a sepal length, you can see that your basically value is ranges from 4.5 to maybe a 8. Okay. So it is ranges from maybe a 4.2. So 4.2 to 8, and you can see that 5.5 or maybe a 5.6 is come a more amount of a time, and a 5 the value is, which I think a 4.9 is come a more amount of time. Okay, so the frequency of these two value is very high. Okay, so the frequency of these two value inside a sepal length is very high. Okay, so you can make this kind of a analysis with the help of a histogram. Now if I try to make if I try to check for maybe another feature, yes, so you can check for another feature also. So in place of a sepal length, if I try to check for a petal length, so in a petal length, so you are able to observe that, okay, so there is some gap also. So there is some gap also. So you can observe that some value between maybe 1 or 2. So maybe this value is maybe a 1 point or maybe a 6. Okay, if I consider this value as 1.6, so 1.6 comes a more number of a time, and then you can also say that between 2 and 3, so there is a gap, and there is a lot of fluctuation. Okay, so definitely in a petal length, I already show you that there is a lot of fluctuation, and these are also you can also consider it this thing as an outlier. Okay, so if you see the, so this is a normal distribution. Yeah, so this is a bell shaped curve, this is the normal distribution. Then this is you can say that this data this particular value is considered to be an outliers. Okay, so fine, I'm able to see the frequency of a different values which is present inside a column. Okay, so with the help of histogram, okay, so if someone ask you that what is a purpose of using a histogram, so with the help of a histogram, I am able to visualize what I'm able to visualize maybe different I'm able to visualize what I'm able to visualize the frequency of each and every value which is present inside which is present inside a data set or maybe a particular column. Now if I show you the purpose of using a dist plot. Okay, dist plot, you can say a distribution plot also. So distribution plot basically tells you that whether your data set is normally distributed or not. Okay, so normally distributed means normal, in a normal distribution, so more of basically most of the real world data set. Okay, so the most of the real world data set is basically a normally distributed. Okay, so most of the real world data set, the data, so the data which you can collect from a real world scenario is basically a normally distributed. Okay, so normally distributed data set is always trying to make a bell shaped curve. Okay, so it is always trying to make a bell shaped curve. So you can basically, and yes, the bell shaped curve data set is basic, you can say a perfect data set. Okay, so that is a perfect data set. So wherever you can find a bell shaped curve, so you can say that, so this data set is basically comes from a normal distribution. So now if I show you that whether my data set, whether my particular basically a plot is whether my particular column is comes from a normal distribution or not. Okay, so if I check this thing for a sepal width. Okay, so let me check this thing for you. Yeah, So this is a perfect normal distribution curve. Okay, so means the value of a sepal width is come from a normal distribution. Okay, so the value of a sepal width is come from a normal distribution, and if you want to check for maybe any other kind of a variable, so maybe if I try to show you for a petal length, so definitely petal length, so inside a petal length, so this is not comes from a normal distribution. Okay, because yes, you can see that there is a fluctuation. Okay, so there is a fluctuation, so some values are very high in this place, and then all the values are basically in this place. Fine. So yes guys, so this is a purpose of a basically a dist plot. So with the help of a dist plot, you can visualize so whether your data point is come from a normal distribution or not. Okay, so you can visualize this thing with the help of a distribution plot. Now if I trying to make if I trying to basically do a univariate analysis, so univariate analysis means what? So trying to make some analysis along with a maybe a single variable. Okay, so single variable means a single column. Okay, so on a single column, if I try to make some kind of an analysis, so that is called what? That is called a univariate analysis. So guys, just try to make some univariate analysis, and just try to gain some kind of an insight from a univariate analysis. Okay, so SNS dot a facet grid. Then if I try to pass maybe a data, okay, then fine. So this is just a facet grid, and I'm trying to basically map my distribution plot. Okay, so I'm trying to basically map my distribution plot on this. Okay, so with the help of a map function, so SNS dot a dist plot. Fine. Maybe if I try to make a univariate analysis on my petal length. Okay, so a petal length, because I know that petal length is basically best feature among all. And then add legend. So with the help of add legend, I am able to know basically which color belongs to basically which flower. And then a plt dot show. Might be, I think, if you're not using a plt dot show also, then also you are able to see the analysis. Okay, so this is this is a univariate analysis. Okay, so on the basis of basically a petal length, on the basis of maybe a single variable, if I trying to make an analysis, so what kind of analysis I'm getting? Okay, so if I ask you the question, okay, so what kind of analysis, or maybe if I ask you the question, what kind of insight you are getting from a univariate analysis? Okay, so from and maybe in a univariate analysis, you just took a single variable, and that single variable, or maybe that single column is what? That single column is nothing but just petal length. Okay, so if that single column is nothing but a petal length, so what kind of an analysis by using that petal basically that petal length? Okay, so if I show you, yes, so you are getting again a same insight. Okay, so you are getting again a same insight. So on a petal length, okay, so on a petal length, so if I try to make a univariate analysis on maybe each and every variable, so you can simply say that, so you using a petal length, I'm able to classify my flowers, or I'm able to basically make a classification very easily. So my classification becomes very handy for me if I'm using what? If I'm using a petal length. Okay, so if I consider a petal length, so my classification becomes very easy. Okay, so so this is a purpose. So for this purpose, I can basically use what? I can use a petal length. Okay, now if I show you maybe some different things, and maybe if I try to, if I try to basically check for maybe petal width. Okay, So again, okay, so let me show you with the help of a petal width what kind of analysis you can make. Okay, so with a petal width, so there is, and again, so you can, maybe you can say one more thing. Okay, so you can say one more thing, like in a petal length. So in a petal length, so you are able to classify your Setosa class very easily. No doubt in that, you are able to classify your Setosa class very easily. But there is some basically some overlapping between versicolor and virginica. Okay, so there is some overlapping between an versicolor and virginica, but overlapping is not much larger. Okay, so with maybe a 90% or maybe with a 95%, you can make some classification. Okay, so like with 100%. Okay, so with 100% confidence, you can say that if any flower, okay, so if a petal length of maybe any flower is lesser than 2.5, so that particular flower is nothing but a Setosa. Okay, in the same way, if I try to make some basically a conclusion, if I try to make some analysis for maybe a versicolor or virginica on the basis of a petal length, so can I make that analysis? Okay, so can I make that analysis? Yeah, definitely you can make an analysis. So just try to basically put a one line over here, and then try to make that analysis. So with a 95% confidence, okay, I am not 100% confident because there is some overlapping. Okay, so with a 95% confidence, or maybe with a 90% confidence, I can say that if my petal length is lesser than a 5, okay, so if my petal length is lesser than a 5, or and definitely if my petal length is lesser than 5, and if my petal length is greater than 2.4, okay, definitely from here, so I can make basically this analysis. Okay, so just let me write down, otherwise so again, if you see the recording, so you are able to basically analyze this thing. So now if I can show you, so you can basically make a if else condition. Okay, so you can definitely make a if else condition. So you can see this, you can say this thing. So if my petal length is lesser than a 2, or maybe a 2.2, okay, so definitely that basically a class is what, that class is basically a Setosa. That flower is basically a Setosa, no doubt in that, with 100%. Okay, so with 100% I can basically say this thing with 100% confidence. Now in case of versicolor and virginica, so if my petal length is greater than 2.2, and petal length is lesser than what, so it is greater than a 2.2 definitely, and if if it is lesser than what, if it is lesser than you can say a 5.5. Okay, so a greater than 2.2, and if it is lesser than 5.5, then it is what? Then it is versicolor. Okay, then it is versicolor, and I am not 100% confidence. I may be what? I may be 90% confidence. And the same thing is for a virginica. Okay, so if my petal length is again is greater than 2.2. Okay, sorry, it is not only greater than 2.2, it is greater than maybe a 4. Okay, so if it is greater than 4, and if it is lesser than, okay, and definitely you need not to give this condition. Okay, so it lesser than maybe a last value, you can say. But yes, you can also write this thing a 6.8. So that class is definitely an virginica, and I can say this thing with maybe a 85% confidence. Okay, so with some confidence. Okay, so not maybe definitely are not 100% confidence. Okay, no, maybe definitely not with 100% confidence, but with a some percent of confidence, you can make this kind of analysis on a on all the three classes. Okay, on all the three classes you can make this kind of analysis with the help, if you are considered just a one single feature, which is nothing but a petal length. Fine guys, I think this is one of the important perspective, and this is one of the important analysis, and I hope that yes, you guys can understand this thing. Okay. Now, if I try to make some kind of analysis with a petal width. Okay, so I think in a petal width, so there is a little bit of overlapping, not a very much, but there is some a little bit of overlapping in maybe basically even in a Setosa and versicolor and virginica. Okay. Now, if I check this thing with a sepal length and a sepal width. So so now if I try to check this thing with a sepal length, maybe this is the sepal width, and now if I try to check this thing with the sepal length, okay, so there is a large, basically, okay, so there is huge overlapping, and inside a sepal length, so this overlapping is lesser in comparison to a sepal width. Okay, so I can make my conclusion. I can make my conclusion if I try to, if I basically, maybe if I give maybe importance. Okay, so in terms of importance, okay, so in terms of importance, if I try to give importance, basically different features. Okay, so my petal length is basically a most important thing. Okay, so my petal length is basically a most important feature because it is giving me a most clear insight, and it is giving me a most clear insight, and it is giving me with the help of a petal length I am able to classify my flowers with ease. Okay, then I think in the second place I am having a petal width. Okay, so if I try to check maybe any a second variable which is a more important one, so that is nothing but a petal width. Then I think in a third place I am having a sepal length, and in a fourth place I am having a sepal width, which is the least important. Okay, which is the least important. Yes, so I think yes, you are able to make this kind of analysis, and this is a very beautiful analysis which you are able to make on this basically a iris data set with the help of just a distribution plot. Okay, fine, guys. So yes, I think till now everyone is able to understand that, okay, what is basically purpose of using this kind of a graph, or purpose of using this kind of a plot, and what are the different kinds of insight I am getting by using this thing. Okay, and definitely you are getting a very good kind of insight, or this insight definitely help you for making any kind of a prediction or making any kind of a decision in future. Okay, now if I try to check a different kind of plotting, and definitely this kind of a plotting, I think you are better understand with a different kind of a data set, maybe on a Titanic data set. Okay, so and yes, you need to check on the other data set also. You need to check on basically a different data set also. Then only you can understand that yes, on a different data sets, how I can basically use this because definitely on every data set you can't get basically you can't get what you can't get basically insights with each and every plot. Okay, so with each and every plot you are not able to gain insight with each and every plot on each and every data set. Okay, so there may be some basically kind of a plotting which is giving you some kind of insight maybe on one data set. Then there is some kind of plotting which is giving you some different kind of insight maybe on other data set. Okay, so okay, so definitely if you know the purpose of each plotting, then only you can decide, okay, so on this data set I'm going to plot this thing, and maybe with this kind of plotting I'm getting this kind of an insight. Fine. Now, if I show you that what is the purpose of using a box plot and what kind of insight I can get with the help of a box plot. So SNS dot box plot. Then inside this, I need to give what? I need to give basically a feature. Okay, I need to change the whole length. Okay, so it is not giving me a good thing. Okay, let me check with another variable. Okay, again it is not giving me good insights. Okay, fine. So okay, so I think maybe if you are not able to understand this thing over here. Okay, so this is a box and fine. Yes, now I am. Okay, so this is a box plot. So inside a box plot, you so box plot is giving you what? So box plot is giving basically a statistical analysis. Okay, so box plot, with the help of a box plot, you are able to basically do the statistical analysis. Okay, so this is okay. So this particular line. Okay, so this particular line is what? So this particular line is nothing but a this particular line basically shows you the median. Okay, so the median of this data set. Okay, so the median of this sepal length is basically what? Is basically 3. Fine. Then this is what? This is a 75th percentile. Okay, so this where this thing is a 75th percentile. So 75th percentile of this particular data set is what? It is about maybe a 3.4, and this is a 25th percentile. Okay, so 25th percentile of this data set is what? So I think a 25th percentile of this particular sepal width is, I think, around a 2.8. Fine. Now this is the maximum value. So this is the maximum value of this sepal width, and now and then this is the minimum value of this sepal width. Fine. Okay, then there is some outlier. So I think in yesterday's session, or maybe a day before yesterday, I basically told you that what do you mean by an outliers, and I told you that outliers is something which is we can say a odd one out. Okay, so maybe in your distribution. Okay, so maybe in your data set, all the values are lies between what? All the values, or maybe lies between 1 to 10. Okay, so maybe all the values inside your data set is lies between 1 to 10. Then there is some values. Okay, so there is some values which is like 100, or maybe a 200, or maybe a 1000. So these are all considered as an outliers. Okay, so if I show you, so suppose this is your data set, maybe your data set containing maybe a 10 values. Okay, and all the values are maybe in this form. Okay, so 1 2 1 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then maybe a 9, and then a 6, and then 2, and then 3. Fine. And maybe 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and maybe you are having what? You are having maybe a 16 values. Then at last just 3 values. Okay, so maybe a 3 values is maybe maybe in this way. Okay, so these 3 values are what? So these 3 values are nothing but an outliers. Okay, so which is basically which is away from your actual distribution. Okay, so and which tries to basically disturb your distribution. Okay, so which tries to basically which will not help you to form maybe a normal distribution graph. Okay, which will basically not allow you, you can say, which the values which not allow you to form a normal distribution graph. Okay, so definitely in this data set there are some outliers. Okay, so if you are in a box plot, if you are if you see that there is some values which is above a maximum value, and then there is some values which is below a minimum value, so these are considered to be an outliers. And I think this is in a sepal width we are having a both kind of outliers. So outliers basically are two types. Okay, so one so this kind of outliers which is above the maximum value is called positive outliers, and the outliers which is below your minimum value is called a negative outliers. So in this particular data set, okay, so inside a sepal width I am having a both kind of outliers. So I am having a positive outliers also, and I am having a negative outliers also. Fine. So you can see this thing. Okay, so you can see whether your data set is containing an outliers or not with the help of a box plot. Fine. And then you can make your analysis. Okay, so now and then at a markdown you can basically write down your observation. Okay, so yes, my data set is containing an outliers, and my data set is containing both kind of an outliers. Okay, so my data set is containing a positive outliers, and my data set is containing a negative outliers also. Fine. So this kind of a conclusion, or this kind of analysis you can make basically by using a box plot. Okay, guys. So I think everyone is able to understand the box plot. Now, if I take maybe another data set. Okay, so I'm not. I'm going to take another data set, a Titanic data set. So PD dot CSV. Okay, so I'm having this kind of a data set, and this basically outliers help you to fill the basically null values. So I think in yesterday's session in a pandas, I am basically I told you that how you can basically fill the null values. Okay, so you can basically fill the null values with maybe a mean, with a median, or maybe with any arbitrary value which you want. Okay, so you can basically fill your null values with a mean, or maybe with a median, or with any arbitrary values which you want. Okay, fine, so that is completely possible. Now you so now if I basically told you that the best way to fill the null values. Okay, so whenever your data set containing an outliers, okay, so whenever your data set is containing an outlier, so the best way to fill basically your null values is with the median. Okay, because median is basically not sensitive to outliers, and median can handle outliers very easily. Okay, so whenever there is a null values inside your data set, so at that point of a time you can basically fill your null values with an outliers. Okay, so I can show you. Okay, so I think in iris data set I can show you this thing. Okay, so I think you all know that you can find out a mean and a median with the help of a numpy. Okay, so np dot mean. Okay, so if I try to find out a mean of maybe iris data set. Okay, so iris okay, so if I try to find out a mean of maybe one thing. Okay, so okay, so a mean of just data, and then if I try to find out a mean of maybe a petal length. Yeah, so 3.75 is a mean of a petal length. Now, if I try to find out basically a mean by basically by creating an outlier. So suppose I just give an outlier here, a 50. Okay, so I'm already having some values inside this petal length, and I intensely, okay, so I intensely give one outlier. Okay, so because I know that a petal length values is ranges from maybe or maybe in a 0 to 2, or maybe anywhere. I just give I intensely give a 50 over here. Okay, so I just introduces a single outlier. Okay, so I am just introduces a single outlier. So it is giving me what? Okay, so no axis named 50. Okay, so axis name is not 50. Okay, so I just make a mistake. Okay, so I can, okay, I need to add this thing. So np dot append. So there is operation inside numpy which is called an append. Okay, I think now I am able to introduce this outlier. Okay, so my basically if I try to check my mean, so my mean becomes a 4.06. Or maybe if I try to introduce a bigger outlier, so it becomes a 4.72. Okay, so and this is with a single outlier. Okay, and this is with a single outlier. Okay, definitely maybe you can add a multiple outlier. So it so a mean is basically fluctuate a lot. Okay, so maybe if I add one more outlier. Okay, so it becomes a 4.72. Fine. Now and definitely maybe some more outliers, so it will disturb your distribution. So now try to check a same thing with a median. And so median is 4.35. Now if I try to introduce an outlier, so just try to introduce an outlier and try to find out a median in this space. Okay, so median is not fluctuate at all. Okay, so I think if I remove this one value again, then also it is going to fluctuate. But if I take just a one value, so it is not. So 4.3 and the 4.4. Okay, so it is not basically a fluctuate a lot. It is not going to fluctuate a lot. It is just become a from 4.35. It becomes a 4.4. Fine. So this is what I'm basically trying to say you, that median is more sensitive to outliers. So uh, whenever in your data set there is a null values, and if you know that your data set containing an outliers, so try to fill that null values with a median. Okay, so don't try to fill that null values with a mean. Try to fill that null values with a median. Fine. So suppose by using a box plot, if I'm trying to check, okay, so and I think from a yesterday's session, and maybe if I try to do this thing, okay, so train dot is null dot sum. Okay, so train dot is null dot sum. So I know that in my age column, I am having a 177 null values. Now, if I try to fill this, so I just want to fill this null values. So first, I try to use a box plot, and with the help of a box plot, I get to know that whether my data set is containing an outliers or not. Okay. So I'm just trying to confirm whether my data set is containing out. So definitely yes, my data set is containing an outliers. Now if I able to know that yes, my data set is containing an outlier, so I can fill these outliers with what? I can fill these outliers with a median in place of a mean. Okay, so people usually try to fill a null values. Okay, so they are not trying to basically they are not trying to basically they are not trying to see whether their data set is containing an outliers and or not. They are just they just know by the definition that if my data set is containing a null values and if my data set is having a numerical values, so I am going to fill my null values with a mean. Okay, but definitely this is not a correct way to fill the null values. Okay, so you first need to check whether your data set is containing an outliers or not. Okay, and if your data set containing an outlier, so try to fill your null values with a median, not with a mean. Fine, guys. So I think every one of you is able to understand till this point. So yes, you guys can ask your question if you have any. Uh, okay. Now, if I show you maybe some more graph, okay, maybe one or two, just. Okay, so there is a chart, there is basically a chart which is called a bar chart. Okay, or maybe you can also say a bar plot also, there is no issue. So suppose I am trying to basically make a bar plot. Okay, so SNS dot bar plot, and inside a bar plot, if I give you so this is again a bivariate analysis. So I just give three things, or maybe a four things. Okay, so my x-axis. Okay, so on my x-axis, suppose I want to take a p class. Okay, I want to take a p class on my x-axis. I want to take a survived column on my y-axis. Okay, so y-axis, I want to take a survived column. And then basically u is what? U is nothing but a sex. Fine. So on the basis of u means on the basis of male and female, I want to do this analysis. So this is what I'm getting. And now if I ask you that what kind of an analysis you can make and what is your observation? Okay, so what are basically things you are able to observe by seeing this graph? Okay, so by seeing this graph, if I ask you the question, so just by seeing this graph, what are what is your analysis and what is basically your observation? Okay, and so just try to get some observation and try to write down your observation in a markdown. Okay, so what kind of observation I'm getting with this basically a bar plot?